In a gaming landscape dominated by roguelikes and Soulslikes, a brave indie team has plunged into the abyss, forging Netherworld Covenant. But can this two-person passion project truly capture the brutal precision of a Soulslike and the exhilarating, evolving power of a roguelike? Let's discover if this indie gem shines in the darkness. Hi there, my name is Dove and I love indie video games. Today, we're delving into Netherworld Covenant, developed by Mad Goat Games Studio. You begin as a nameless protagonist, part of an expedition seeking the Nether Lantern. Things quickly turn disastrous. Your entire crew is slaughtered, leaving you on your very last leg before finding and following a mysterious Black Knight. Like the best Souls-likes, this title throws you right into the action with minimal explanation. It still evokes that profound sense of dark, demonic lore surrounding you, but that's for you to uncover on your own. As you progress, the narrative unfurls further, encountering more ghosts and former comrades, revealing deeper aspects of the lore and the game mechanics. Unfortunately, you won't find any cryptic lost notes, nor is there any extensive exploration, as the roguelike structures here keep you focused on a linear path. Yet, the characters you meet on your runs truly embody the tortured souls found in games from the Dark Souls series all the way to Mark of the Deep. The tutorials in here are as swift as the explanations. A quick screen provides all the necessary information, sparing you from a long, drawn-out opening salvo. At first glance, the game features a hack-and-slash attack system paired with a defensive dash, prevalent in the top roguelikes. However, there's far more strategy than your average roguelike here, and this is where Netherworld Covenant begins to distinguish itself. Here, the Souls-like formula truly intertwines as your dashes, special abilities, and blocks are all linked to a stamina-based system. Fans of Sekiro and Nine Souls will feel right at home with the parry mechanics. A timely parry or perfect dodge can leave an enemy vulnerable, potentially leading to more devastating effects depending on your chosen build or upgrades. As you traverse the map, you'll discover some of your fallen comrades. To free them from their hellish predicament, you must defeat them in boss-like battles, which for the most part appear to be optional. These encounters, however, offer a fantastic change of pace. Your comrades are more agile and generally demonstrate the exact power they'll bestow upon you if you prevail. Once defeated, they return to your camp, allowing you to utilize their unique special ability in all future runs. These are your ethereal abilities or attacks. This is another area where Netherworld Covenant truly shines among other roguelikes. Instead of merely a magic spell or a ranged attack, you can equip two distinct ethereal attacks or summon spirits to perform various offensive maneuvers for you. These specters can execute quick melee strikes, hurl a giant broadsword into a crowd, or fire arrows at distant foes, among other actions. In early access, 4 different comrades offer standard ethereal attack sets, with each ghost providing 6 variations on those attacks. Naturally, more devastating attacks cost more to unlock. These spirit-based attacks can also be modified throughout your run with the standard roguelike upgrades, incorporating elemental effects like fire, lightning, and frost, or devastating conditions like bleeding or poisoning. This is merely the beginning for those ethereal attacks. Each unleashes a ghost that either moves toward your enemy or remains at your point of activation. Once unleashed, you can either dash to that spirit regardless of distance or recall it, regaining a portion of your stamina and granting brief invincibility. While your regular dash is limited by stamina, these ethereal options offer crucial tactical versatility and serve as a primary source for combat enhancements. Once you grasp all the different systems, the combat feels incredibly fluid. Your attacks are highly responsive to commands, and while the game might feel or seem limited early on, like the best titles in both genres, the available powers and abilities become increasingly engaging as you progress, and unlock more between those runs. This combat offers that challenging but fair gameplay that Souls fans crave. The bosses here are unequivocally designed to test your understanding of the mechanics. Their designs and attack patterns are varied, and while they may only have a handful of moves, the actual battles remain unpredictable and demanding. But if you're finding these battles maybe a little too demanding, different difficulty modes are available. And there's actually a third, more challenging setting coming down the line. Graphically, Netherworld Covenant perfectly captures that dark demonic aesthetic without overdoing it. All too often, Souls-like games become so grim and murky you can barely discern what's happening. This title definitely has that dark atmosphere, but wisely incorporates consistent bright colors. Visually, it resembles a 3D isometric Souls game with solid definition and a frame rate that rarely, if ever, dipped below 60. The audio remained consistent and atmospheric between fights and delivered a good punch during combat with its effects. However, the music often seemed to recede into the background, and I never found a memorable track to hum outside the game. While that didn't really detract from the immersion, sometimes the difference between a good and great game lies in a catchy soundtrack earworm. Regarding the actual powers and upgrades, the game is a creeper. By that, I mean the available abilities grow progressively more interesting the deeper you delve, requiring a full comprehension of all the different mechanics. Once you understand how everything interlocks, you'll understand all the diverse synergies and formidable builds possible, even in this early access phase. I'll admit, initially I thought the upgrade pool lacked variety, but after deeper immersion and more unlocks, you'll find there's ample variation. Regardless, even more is on the way as Mad Goat Game Studios' roadmap promises an extension of nearly everything, including upgrades, powers, and relics. The broader that pool becomes, the more truly exceptional this game will be. For weapons, you can enhance them by discovering blueprints throughout each run, typically as a reward for more challenging battles. Once found, you'll need to return to your hub and pay the various currency to forge or unlock them. There's a decent assortment of weapons, but unfortunately nothing that distinctly screams Souls-like. You won't find a massively oversized two-handed weapon, mainly just an array of different swords with various perks. In fact, for the most part, they all swing exactly the same with the same weight. While the game boasts a solid and responsive combat system, it does lack that extra attention to weapon and armor weight. The upgrades and weapon design certainly evoke a Souls-like dark fantasy theme, and you'll definitely need to carefully read descriptions for optimal outcomes, another recurring genre element. However, there's still a want for build-specific weapon types or upgrades. The hub or home base draws inspiration from both genres. It's an absolute staple in every roguelite, and many Souls titles, including the Dark Souls series, utilize one as well. The hub here isn't quite as intimate as what Hades fans might be accustomed to, but it provides all the customary meta progression elements, boosting your base stats, gaining extra health or currency bonuses, increasing potion potency, or expanding carrying weight. It's your essential one-stop shop for transforming your nameless protagonist into an unstoppable demon-slaying machine. Now, what might roguelike, or in this case roguelite, genre enthusiasts find lacking? Primarily, the limited initial variety of special abilities might deter some fans. However, I'd encourage those players to persevere and push further into the game. Not only do more abilities unlock, but you can also gain access to even cooler specials. And remember, the roadmap promises additional powers, so keep an eye out. What's currently available is exceptional, well-conceived, and enjoyable to play. I believe just a couple more powers or abilities could genuinely elevate this game to the next level. I also noticed a significant lack of procedural generation regarding the maps. While I know in some favorite roguelites you can predict map layouts, my first 5 or 10 runs felt almost identical in terms of map structure. While there was always a variety in enemy types, their positioning, the upgrades, and what came next in subsequent rooms, the actual map layouts for the combat seemed to recycle a small handful of designs each run. It's not a deal breaker, but I'd love to see more map diversity. If you suck like I do, those early maps can become quite repetitive. Increased variation would also boost replayability and make each run just feel fresher. Now, what will the Souls-like fans miss? There's an abundance of elements here for those Souls-like fans to appreciate. The unexpected yet simple inclusion of the stamina bar grants the hack-and-slash combat a significantly more tactical and strategic feel. However, there feels like less strategic depth when it comes to character builds. While the roguelike elements blend well with the Souls-like core, part of the enjoyment for Souls-like players is crafting characters heavily specialized in one category. Beyond meta progression, your builds are largely left to chance. This compels you to experiment with builds outside of your comfort zone, which can be a lot of fun, but it isn't something all Souls-like devotees seek. Additionally, there's no bonfire system or shortcuts, but clearly that would undermine the whole roguelike element. Honestly, I think this is an excellent fusion of the two genres, though it probably leans more towards the roguelite side. The style, camera, and upgrade systems will make Hades fans feel right at home, and Netherworld Covenant offers the challenging tactical combat that Dead Cells enthusiasts enjoy. Adding stamina to the standard roguelike hack-and-slash combat is pure brilliance. That small tweak perfectly ties in the Souls-like genre and adds a significant layer of strategy to a combat system that is fluid, honest, and demanding. Graphically, fans of the early Dark Souls series will likely find things familiar. Netherworld Covenant also features combat that appears simple on the surface, but proves incredibly deep once mastered, much like the best Souls-like games. Furthermore, having to start at the very beginning after each death compels players to learn from their mistakes, appealing directly to the inner Souls-like fan. I recommend this game for fans of both genres, really, or anyone interested. This title is still in early access, and I already consider it a gem. The two-man developer team is actively adding more relics, weapons, auras, upgrades, skills, and chapters as they complete the early access period, truly loading this title with potential. I believe this game is only going to improve, and you can pick it up on Steam right now for under $20 before any sales. If you're a fan of either the Souls-like or roguelite genre, I think this is a solid indie game, and upon full launch, I believe it will be an unquestionable gem.
Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button, and subscribing goes a long way towards bringing you more content like this. We also have a weekly news podcast called the Indie Radar, where we focus on indie news and upcoming titles. Thanks again for watching from all of us here at the Gamer Buff.